The one thing that an average Russian motorist traditionally fears most of all is a traffic inspector. But when Alexei Dozorov is on the road, it's the policeman's turn to feel uneasy. Tired of the constant harassment from traffic police and regular extortion of bribes, Alexei decided to equip his Toyota with a video camera. The trick has already proven highly useful when dealing with money-thirsty cops. In this country, it is impossible to talk to government bodies without documented proof in your hands. So wherever I drive, my camera is always rolling. It can also come in handy when police cars and government vehicles violate their own traffic rules. A video recording is then attached to an official complaint asking for the offender to be punished. Alexei and his followers believe that their mission is to teach law enforcers something very basic: to observe the law. We try to drive it home to policemen and government officials that they're no different from other road users. Law enforcers who break rules should be punished even more severely than everyone else. Vyacheslav Lysakov is probably one of Russia's most famous motorists. He is a leader of an informal grassroots movement called Freedom of Choice, which unites owners of Japanese-made cars. When the Russian government attempted to impose a ban on right-hand drive models, it took Lysakov just 4 days and an internet connection to mobilize thousands of Russian motorists in an unprecedented act of protest. I took it as a personal insult that someone was trying to decide for me what car I should drive. It's like telling me what food I should eat and whom I should vote for. I did not want to be treated like a marionette. Since that day, Lysakov's movement has grown bigger and stronger. Why? The legal mechanisms are not working in today's Russia the way they should, and we're simply forced to pay attention to issues like roads and fuel quality. The grassroots movements that unite motorists are only a small part of an army of socially conscious citizens. The civil protests seem to be coming from unexpected quarters: Russia's middle class. All of these people have got something to lose. Private investors in construction protest against frauds by government-licensed companies. Residents of large cities are fighting the unpopular housing reform and environmental problems. Small businessmen are unhappy with bureaucratic barriers and corrupt government officials. Each year, more and more Russians realize that appealing to the government through usual channels often doesn't work. As a result, Russia has seen the birth of a new social trend. People form grassroots movements to defend their interests and rights. And the really bad news for the Kremlin is that most of these civil groups are outside the government's control. Traditionally, whatever the Kremlin cannot control, it fears. Evgeny Gontmacher, who studies grassroots activism in Russia, explains why.
Because we have very good examples in our neighbor countries. Ukraine, Georgia. Our authorities is very afraid of the same type of development of situation. When people will go in the street and will demand to change situation, not in years, but on next day.
So far, the number of civil protest groups in Russia hardly exceeds 300. Besides, the Kremlin has been skillfully maneuvering between using violence against such activists and meeting their demands. Analysts are already sounding the alarm. These groups are now a permanent part of Russia's political landscape. And if the government continues to ignore its people, civil protest groups could evolve into a broader political movement. A movement that the Kremlin may one day be forced to deal with. Alexei Kuznetsov, CBS News, Moscow.